Thank you, Speaker. So the number of income earners in South Africa is drastically decreasing, meaning that we do not have as many people as possible who are involved in some sense of labor to earn income and provide for their families, meaning that poverty is increasing because there are so many people who are not employed. And manufacturing, I think that the WEF, the World Economic Forum, say that we have got a crisis now of automation and mechanization and also what they call it Industry 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution, where you have got manufacturing sector which is highly automated, doesn't absorb as much people as possible to work. How are you going to deal with that challenge? Because in South Africa, our crisis is that our people are not working, we do not have income earners. You can have an expanding economy in the manufacturing sector, but it's not employing people. How are you going to deal with that decisively so that we do not have the continued jobless expansion of the economy? And lastly, do you agree that there must be a judicial commission of inquiry on the banks for closing the bank accounts of the corrupt Gupta families? Can you please respond to those two questions?
I mean, one can only but agree with Honorable Shivambu that the number of jobs created, whilst good in the first 20 years of our democracy, is not adequate to give us a situation where most employable people are employed, most people that can earn an income are earning their own income, and the dependency on the state is actually reduced. We can also agree with Honorable Shivambu that poverty ultimately is going to be resolved not through the kind of welfare safety nets that we have, but by making sure that every economically active or potentially economically active person is actually employed either in a self-created job or in a job created by industry. Manufacturing used to be, 17% of the overall GDP numbers, went down to 11%. It's probably still approximately in that range. And throughout the world, the real danger is that in an effort to increase productivity, robotics and technology is being relied upon. But in our recent participation in the G20 meetings over the weekend in China, it's becoming very clear that there's no direct relationship between the use of technology and creation of jobs. So there's no doubt that there's a crisis that we are heading for in the next 10 or 15 years, Madam Speaker, which would mean that there are less jobs created in the formal sector. Manufacturing in South Africa still has potential to grow, largely because the depreciated rand should be giving South African manufacturers a leg up. To some extent, you can begin to see it in the numbers, but we need to also ask some serious questions about whether, as a society and as an economy, we are enterprising enough, dynamic enough, and have the right sense of urgency to seize opportunities that exist both within South Africa and outside. An area that we don't emphasize sufficiently, that we should focus on a lot more, it comes through the G20 discussions as well, is the small, micro, and medium-sized businesses. We need to do a lot more to support entrepreneurs, give them access to finance, create a supportive environment in our municipalities, and now that our municipalities are governed by parties other than my own in some areas, let's see what we can do in this regard, and we'll be interested to watch the evidence that actually emerges. Banking regulation is part of the brief that the Ministry of Finance has, and as far as we are concerned, we are compliant as South Africa, and amongst the best compliant, with international requirements which emerge both from the crisis, the Financial Stability Board, and other bodies incorporated in or accountable to the G20 forum. And our standards of regulation are as best as they can be. In some instances, we have regulations imposed upon emerging markets like our own because of factors that have been affecting advanced economies that are not really to our benefit. But we have fora such as the FSB and others where we can actually raise these sorts of issues. I think we also have the banking ombud, who has certain powers which perhaps need to be reviewed if there are customers that have problems with the banks. So as far as financial institutions are concerned, there's a difficult balancing act. Let me be frank, Madam Speaker. And the balancing act is between ensuring that there's stability in this sector, that it is well regulated, and that it doesn't constitute a risk to the country's economy and to the fiscus, as we've learned from the 2008, 2009 financial crisis. On the other hand, we need to be equally very aware that the banking sector can run away with itself. Its charges might be excessive, its customer service might be poor, its market conduct might be questionable, and as far as that is concerned, let's have a debate about whether we need to tighten the regulatory requirements. And before Parliament right now, Madam Speaker, is the Twin Peaks proposal and legislation, which is directed at ensuring that we have far stronger market conduct mechanisms in South Africa rather than the kind of fragmented arrangement that we currently have. So looking forward, I think we'll be in a much better place to ensure that consumers are given the right kind of deal on the one hand, and at the same time, the indispensable role of a well-run financial services sector is one that is maintained in line with both international standards and our own national interest in what is required here. And it's that balancing act that we, as the Ministry of Finance, who has the responsibility for stability within this sector, which we've assigned to the South African Reserve Bank as part of the banking regulators' mandate, which is financial stability. We will watch that area carefully. It's going to evolve over the next few years in line with the Twin Peaks legislation and other international and local arrangements. And let's see how that serves future generations better. Thank you.